I actually don't know. I left one of my hearing aids. That's a problem. It's fine. All right, chat. So we have a couple things to go over. First off, I am so I'm on my break right now, and I had the idea of testing to see if this is something that I can work on doing more of because I know in the past my whole emphasis was let me do like a live stream on my commute, and that was okay. I wasn't like the biggest fan of it just because while it worked, there was, I know it's like this is a streamer like Foozly or something like that, where everyone's like, yeah, maybe don't do that. And that's perfectly fair. So I was just running through and thinking, what can I do instead that would work a bit better? Um, and the thought I had was, well, let me just, go live on one of my breaks throughout the day. It just might be a random one and kind of go from there. So it's Friday. This is your Gen Z coworker. The name's Michael. Um, and or Michael Klukas. And one of the big things that I currently am trying to balance out, especially again working just a 9 to 5 job, is I very much so want to be able to do everything in the span of 2 days. And I say 2 days in particular because that's the weekend. That's how much time we generally get. Um, and this is knowing that it's not enough. It's never going to actively be enough. Just because when you are spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week, in one spot working your job, it takes so much from every other portion of your day. And one of the main things that, well, I appreciate that, bro. But one of the main things that I really think we kind of end up struggling with is this fact that, again, we have 2 days as our weekend. That's what we get. You're working a 9 to 5 job, that's all you get. And you're trying to squeeze in everything that you can in those days off. And for myself, I'm running into this big kind of like hurdle where there's never going to be enough time for me to actively get all my side projects done, get all my chores done at home, to go to the gym and to actively, you know, hit all of my side hustle goals that I would want. And thing that I realized, but more so, I say realize, this is not an original thought by any means whatsoever. My wife, more particularly, had to make sure that I was not skipping over this nature of my job. I currently work as an accountant. So I have my job in accounts payable. For businesses, I'm just doing invoices. I get an invoice from one company and I make sure that it's paid. That's the gist of it. Um, but with again, with these 9 to 5 jobs, there's that limit to how much time we have outside of it. So on the weekends, it's Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I have like three main things that I really want to do. I really want to be able to make sure I go to the gym. I really want to make sure that I'm spending time with my wife. I want to make sure that I am enjoying my hobbies. But therein lies the issue that I'm running into. I say hobbies, and that is this, it's this broad, term, this broad idea about what I can actually do because I build computers for fun. I sell those and flip those. All right, let's see here. I got this Doko Matthew guy, so we're just gonna deal with that real quick. Do, do, do. Cool. Um, but it's like when I have all these things that I want to spend my time on this weekend. So it's like the computers, the gym. I want to actively go spend time with my wife. I want to read some of my books. I want to draw. I want to go on runs. There's again this hurdle, And so the way in which my wife has encouraged me to break it up, and something that just really I think clicks, and I think other people would kind of resonate with it too, is you got to pick just one or two things. Just work for yourself if you're getting paid enough. Switch to trade taking most time of your life. Yeah, that's if you can swing working for yourself, it makes sense, but not everyone, can make that transition. Like right now, I'm also in school for a master's of accounting, and that also is part of the struggle. I'm currently on summer break. How? All right, there we go. All right, that took a while. Um, but being on summer break, I still have some summer classes that I have to get done. So as much as I want to be able to spend time and have as much free time as possible to dedicate towards, my hobbies, my marriage, my fitness, and everything else, it was, again, my wife's encouragement was just pick like one thing. So you got married and broke. I'm 26, so like I also graduated college early as well. So going back to school wasn't anything that crazy. And the main problem that, again, it keeps going back to is just trying to pick a priority like for one portion out of the day. And still young and relatively so, but I have no complaints about it. I've been with my wife for, we were dating for almost a decade, so I got no complaints about it. But picking like one priority and really trying to hone in on that to make some form of progress has been the encouragement. And I've broadened it out a little bit because there's so many things that I again want to do, and I know that again all of us that work 9 to 5 jobs are going to run into the same block. Is that it's picking like 2 to 3 things that you can get done reasonably well, or that you can dedicate enough time to make a little bit more progress in it. Like knowing that my wife and I are I get married 25. No, that's fair. That's fair. Um, but it's like knowing that I have a date planned and we're gonna go shopping, we're gonna go out for a bit, and it's gonna be a good way to spend quality time with my wife. And then it's knowing that I have the time to go to the gym in the evenings where I'll be able to either, go live and film more videos and shorts while I'm getting my workout in, or I'll be able to instead spend it on finishing up another computer build. And it's really having to take these pros and cons of more so the hobby pieces, because in my life in particular, being married at this age and having the time that I do, then I very much so want to make sure that one of my biggest priorities is spending time with my wife, because for me that's important. But for everyone who's not in a relationship, um, this is where again those hobbies and those goals really should come into play here. I know I've made videos about it before about not having the time, trying to prioritize, and the statement that I've used before that I've gone back to in I know I've said this before on lives and in my podcast has been this emphasis on you underestimate what or you overestimate what you can do in a year, and then you underestimate what you can do in 5 years. And that's stretching out the timeline by a lot. And that is, I think, usually the biggest cheat code in terms of not putting so much pressure on yourself to say, I got to cram everything into this one weekend, this one day, when instead you can spread it out. Where, using fitness as the example here, I had hit my weight goal earlier last year, but then I had fallen off the actual program that I had. So my weight went back up. And so now I'm stretching out the timeline. I'm trying to make the changes that are going to be sustainable and will remain sustainable, and making these small incremental adjustments. And where are you from? That would be, I just say US. That's my usual go-to. um, but again, it's breaking up these smaller goals and having a more focused daily approach to it when you have that downtime, when you have the room to kind of get back to it, and not feeling bad or really hating on the day to day that you have for like a 9 to 5 job. And that's again where the encouragement that I want to like leave you guys on here, because my break's coming to an end here. I can see it on my little timer over here. Um, is that even if you have your daily commitments, you will always have more time than you think if you are stretching it out. If you are choosing 2 to 3 things to focus on and really making it a priority to hit them, but then not letting the rest of it become this, again, big hurdle that you worry about getting around to. So again, that's my encouragement, is 2 priorities, 2 to 3, if you can swing it this weekend, that you want to get to. That's what I'm going to be working on, because I know there's never going to be enough time to do all the things I want to do. And so this leads with the ending statement, which is you can do anything you want, but you can't do everything. And that's something I will keep learning over and over again. But with that, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll go live again at some point, not this weekend, but I don't think this weekend. But this is your Gen Z coworker, Michael Klukas, and I'll see y'all later.